The town of Croghan takes out a beaver dam. The aftermath is what local residents are upset with. We hear about both sides of this with 7 News reporter Brennan Straub.
It is an area that any of the local people will have pictures in a family photo album of that pond. We've all taken our kids and our grandkids there.
That's Wayne Reed talking about Ashcraft Pond. It's a small, secluded pond off Beartown Road in the town of Croghan. Reed says the pond was the best feature of the rural community until recently, when the town decided to tear out a beaver dam, causing pond levels to drop.
That was definitely the number one thing, and we don't have that anymore, and it was taken for absolutely no good reason.
Town Highway Superintendent Kevin Zare says the town understands residents' frustrations, but it was something they felt had to be done.
It's not the only place that we have to check beaver dams, but this is the one place that we couldn't trap the beavers.
Zare says the town was spending too much time and taxpayer dollars here on maintenance that made keeping the dam not feasible. He also says they were concerned about flooding.
I mean, high water or something, they'll wash out. And being the road was right down below it, if it got too high, I felt like that was a concern.
Zare says at a Croghan Town Board meeting Monday night, more than a dozen people came forward to voice their concerns about the dam being torn out. Residents believe that pond may have been a state-regulated wetlands area. 7 News reached out to the Department of Environmental Conservation but didn't hear back. Zare says moving forward, more dialogue between town officials and residents will occur if further changes may happen. Brendan Straub, 7 News.